I'm seeing women who have built this successful business on the outside, but behind the scenes, it's put together with duct tape and sparkly band-aids everywhere. The pressure of trying to deliver what they've built is really weighing on them. They kind of feel like I was, like, I've gotten to this point. Why can't I figure it out?
Welcome to another episode of the Building Well podcast. I'm your host, Amanda Magho, founder of Ahadi Creations, where I serve as a marketing consultant and partner for female founders, helping them push their brands forward through strategy when they need direction and implementation when they need reliable execution. I'm so glad you're here. This podcast is full of candid conversations with other female founders just like you, who are sharing insights from their journeys while encouraging you to stay on yours. Let's dive in. Well, thank you for joining us today. Can you please introduce yourself and let us know what you do and who you help?
Of course. Thanks for having me, Amanda. So if your business doesn't run without you, then it's not scalable. So what I do is I help women business owners who own service-based businesses around the $1 million mark remove themselves from the daily operations so their business changes from being a liability worth nothing into an asset. So my name is Sailynn Doyle. I'm a business strategist. And my zone of genius is really systems, organization, back-end infrastructure, and building support teams. So happy to be here.
Very good. Yes, happy to have you as well. Can you briefly tell us how you got started doing what you do now?
Oh my gosh, yes. This is like my love language. So
Okay.
back in 2006, I was sitting on my boyfriend's boat on a warm, sunny Sunday in August, and the girl next to me said, what do you want to do? And out of my mouth popped, start my own business. Like, I think she meant for dinner or drinks later.
Oh, wow.
That's what came out. Fast forward, I ended up purchasing a senior home care franchise. And in year 3, we hit $1 million in revenue. And when I should have been celebrating that, I was instead sitting in my car sobbing at 9 a.m. because everything ran through me, even though I had a team. And so I spent 2 years by myself figuring out how to redesign the business so it didn't run through me and it ran without me. And I was very proud to say in 2012, I was able to leave the business for 30 days. We jumped in the RV and took off, and I wasn't attached to my cell phone. I wasn't attached to my laptop, and it didn't fall apart. And so when I got back, I said to myself, what else is possible? And I spent the next 5 years turning that business into a well-oiled money-making machine. And then women started asking me, how'd you do it? And so I sold that business in 2017 and then started business coaching in January of 21. And now it's like my love language. I love helping women live their most epic life and having a business that supports it and not the other way around.
Yeah. And I think the best work that we can do comes from having lived it. So you lived that for years and was like, no, I can't function this way. Like,
yeah,
I mean, obviously,
it's just not possible.
Yeah. And there's more talk about burnout, of course, the last few years, but that's what it is, of course. Yeah. Knowing what to delegate in business can help you make one of the best investments in your business. If marketing has become the task that always gets pushed to tomorrow, let's change that together. Learn more at ahadicreations.com. Strategy when you need direction, implementation when you need reliable execution.
Yes. And burnout was not something that was talked about back in 2010. I actually, as like the problem solver that I am, it was like a stab to my heart to actually ask for help.
Yes.
Because I really was like, well, what's wrong with me? Why can't I figure it out? But it was just one of those things, you know, from your parents brainwashing you that if you work hard, you'll be successful and can have anything you want. To my franchisor telling me, just keep working a little harder and it'll work itself out. And, you know, 80-hour weeks for 3 years straight, like there's no more left to work harder. I was working at my max. And so I had to really think differently and think outside that box in order to actually get different results.
Yes, for sure. Yeah.
And at least you acknowledge that and did something about it, because there are so many who are still in it year after year.
Yeah. And what I'm really seeing, Amanda, nowadays, and why I've really been talking so much about this is I'm seeing women who have built this successful business on the outside, but behind the scenes,
Mm-hmm.
it's, put together with duct tape and, sparkly band-aids everywhere. And, it looks great, but the pressure of trying
Mhm.
to deliver what they've built is really weighing on them. And women are experiencing medical
Yep.
issues, and their body is basically screaming at them, just like mine was back in the day, saying something's got to change, but they don't know what to do. And I'm sure they kind of feel like I was like, I've gotten to this point. Why can't I figure it out? But it's kinda like when you meet with your girlfriend and she says she has a problem and you're like, "Well, here's the answer." And she's like, "How come I couldn't think of that?" It's because you're on the outside,
Mhm.
right? So
Mhm.
it looks clear. When you're on the inside, it is so hard to figure things out alone.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. How would you say you find most of the customers that you work with?
So the majority of the clients that find me are somewhere I've met them. So it's in one of the networking groups I belong to, or it might be in a program that I'm in, but we've met somewhere.
Mhm.
And in person, online doesn't really matter. And they just kind of see me, they see my vibe. When I join a community, I have a very targeted approach that allows me to kind of position myself as a thought leader. And so, and with a different name like Sailynn, thanks to mom and dad, it kind of stands out. And then I find that women are naturally attracted to just my message and my vibe in that. So, yeah.
Okay. Can you tell us a little bit more about the approach that you mentioned?
Absolutely. So, what I love to do in groups that I'm a part of is definitely post, right? It's just like social media. Social media was
Yes.
designed for you to be social, right? And so I write a weekly newsletter that is my long form content. And then
Okay.
I piece it out onto social media all week. But what I do in these groups every single week is I take a snippet from it, something that's engaging, something that's maybe a little bold or controversial or makes you think differently to really spark a conversation. And I put it into the group on the same day, pretty much the same time
Sure.
every single week.
Mhm.
And then I also really try and attend certain events in certain groups, right? And so that really positions me. I love to ask questions. So if there's an opportunity with like an office hours or a Q&A, like I always raise my hand first. So I really, when I join a community, I don't join just to be like a name as a member on a list. I joined to really integrate myself into the community and become known. So that has worked really well for me for 19 years. And so I just keep going with that. And I have it all as I'm a systems girl. So I have
Yes.
it all kind of laid out in a system.
So I love systems and tech too. So we'll have side conversation. What tech do you like and what systems do you like? And tell me all the tech conversation.
Yeah. So I like to keep tech as simple as
Okay.
possible. I met with a client a few months ago and she was like, I have 3 calendar tools. And I was like, which one are you using?
Oh,
She's like, none because I'm overwhelmed. I was like,
uh,
okay, great. So I'm
yeah.
all about simplifying your tech stack. So
Yeah.
I run my entire business on Kajabi, the
Okay.
OG of
Yes.
courses and coaching.
Mhm.
I have HubSpot for my CRM. And then I use Calendly. So pretty much super simple.
Yeah.
And then what I also like to do, I'll give you one of the systems since we're kind of talking about networking and being in community, is when I do a one-to-one connection after I meet someone in a community, I have my Fathom note taker in there and I ask them on the call 3 very targeted questions. I lead the call. That's that thought leader. Lead the call, ask 3 very targeted questions, and then that goes into my CRM. So that way, when I'm looking to make referrals or collaborations or whatever, I'm just like, who was that lovely person that said whatever? and HubSpot tells me exactly who it was if I can't remember their name. And then I can send them an email and connect. So
Very cool.
yeah,
Do
I
your
love
questions
tech.
change based on who you're meeting with? Or do you just
No,
ask the same questions? What are you
I,
asking?
So when I get on a call with someone, I usually say, okay, I put 30 minutes on my calendar. You see, I have my Fathom note taker in there. It's connected to my HubSpot. I tell them the process. And then I say, I would love for you to tell me about you, your business, and who's your ideal client. And then those three questions go directly into HubSpot. So that way they know like the key words that person used, and it's not me trying to figure it out. It's right from their mouth.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Those are good questions too. Yeah. I think for those who do networking regularly, of course, that's the regular. Okay, cool.
Yes.
Okay. You have a team or do you have everything automated? Team.
I love automations, but I have a team of virtual assistants.
Okay.
And I just love that model. And it's because in my first business, a franchise, I kind of bucked the franchise system model of hiring full-time employees. They had a whole organization chart laid out for us and they were like, hire this full-timer. And I was like, no. And so I hired, team members that were experts in their field, and
Yes.
many of them were part-time employees. And so you can now replicate that so easy with virtual assistants. So for instance, in my HR team back in the day, I had an expert trainer, I had an expert interviewer, I had an expert HR admin, I had an expert that did state filing taxes and like all of that kind of stuff that we needed to do. And it's the same thing with my VAs now. I have an expert on social media. I have an expert graphic designer. I have an expert editor. And so it allows me to build a team that they love working in their zone of genius. So whenever I'm looking for something, I'm looking for someone that's usually part-time for a specific need and the thing that they absolutely love to do because it increases profitability and efficiency.
For sure. Yeah. So what's been one of the marketing tasks that you were happy to give away? Like the first thing, like, no, I'm not doing it. Not doing it.
Social media by
Yeah.
definitely. But I think that is I know it is. Whenever I work with clients, that's the first thing they want to
Yeah.
give away. And it's because most people's social media is not generating leads for them.
Mm.
So they're not equating like social media equals money. Now that's a whole nother conversation.
Yes.
But that is usually what they give away. So I have a virtual assistant who I write the copy for her, and then
Okay.
she creates all the graphics, all the reels. She schedules it for me. She handles all of that. And I just basically hand her everything to do with social media.
Yeah. Social media is a lot, as we all know. And especially, they keep coming out with more of them changing what they want done and it's not going anywhere. So you have to be on it in some form or fashion. So
Exactly. It's definitely not going anywhere. And I mean,
yeah.
I don't believe you have to be on it in every business. I think it depends on the business.
Sure.
But I
Yeah.
would say the majority of businesses need to have a presence. So for me, I just hired a lead gen company and they're out there using the Instagram following that I've built, which is not huge, but it's engaged. And so they're finding a lot of people in my Instagram that are like ripe for the picking to have conversations with that I just didn't have the time to do. So, when I have a client say to me, oh, that reel bombed, I'm like, okay, so no one liked it, no views, no, like anything. And they're like, well, no, I got a couple. And I'm like,
Yeah.
that's not a bomb then. You know what I mean? Like you
Absolutely.
got results. Now you have to have conversations with those people. And so I think that's where the misconception is with social media is that they think people are just gonna be like, you're amazing. Let me buy everything
Right.
from you. And that takes a while to build.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it takes time for sure. And then some people forget that they have to be in it for the long haul. So it takes time. People buy differently now. So
Yes, exactly. And businesses, I think there's been so much glamorization around business, how it's like, oh, you can get to six figures in 6 weeks or 6 months. And sure, maybe if you have like a following or something along those lines, or you were in a certain role or something. But for the average entrepreneur that's coming in, it's a long haul. You have
Yes.
to be committed. And I have those conversations with the women I work with as I'm like, are you in this for the long haul? Or
Yeah.
are you just kind of, let me try
Quick
this
fix.
and
Yeah.
see? Yeah.
Absolutely. What marketing effort felt uncomfortable for you at first, but now over time you've accepted and gotten over it?
Oh my gosh. So I'm a total introvert. No one ever believes me on
Okay.
that. Like,
Okay.
they're like, no way are you an introvert. But literally, I would be happy sitting on my couch
Sure.
and reading a book. Um, but I really had to push myself out of my shell. So when I bought my franchise, they brought us out to training for a week when we first opened.
Mhm.
And they told us that we needed to do 40 marketing visits a week in the community.
Yes.
And I was like, okay, whatever. But then I got back and I opened the doors and I got busy doing all the things. And they came out and visited me within the first 90 days. And they were like, how many marketing visits are you doing? And I was like, I don't know, like 20. And the woman looked at me like straight in the eye and was
Mhm.
like, do you want to be broke? And I was like,
Mm.
no, like I'd already invested tens of thousands of dollars. And she was like, then do 40. And I was like, okay. And that's how I got to 1 million so quickly because they knew their metrics, right? They
Sure.
knew that, a franchise owner had invested tens of thousands of dollars, right? And to get to $1 million in revenue and get them a six-figure salary, that they needed to do 40 visits. And so that really pushed me out of my shell. But one of the things that, a couple years later, so I opened in '07, '09, they said to us, you have to have a Facebook account. And I was like, what? A Facebook account? I'm like, this is a wasted time. And so I actually paid one of my staff to do it for me because I
Mhm.
was just like, back then, that's when you were like posting like what you had for lunch and like the most random stuff.
Mhm.
And, people were still kind of figuring it out. And so I really didn't get on social media until I sold that business in 2017 and started an online business.
Mm.
And so social media was definitely something out of the box, but now I realize it it's the same thing. It's just a huge community across the world.
Yeah.
And, it was designed to be social and go talk to people. But I use it as a tool. I don't sit and scroll on it. I love Lily Pulitzer clothes. So I love to go in and kind of chat with the Lily ladies in there. And, I use it primarily for business. So I don't get that slow scroll kind of issue of losing hours in my day.
Yeah. Yeah. Because that can happen. What are you most active on for your business?
For business, LinkedIn.
Okay.
So I handle my LinkedIn. My lead gen company is handling Instagram, but I'm still a Facebook girly at heart. Me. I just feel like it's just the place more of my jam. So
Mhm.
I'm in a lot of groups for things that I like, local communities, just different things like that. But I would say that's where I probably feel the most comfortable and don't feel like I need to follow so many guidelines. Like last night, I did a post. I was like, who's watching the show Elle on
Mhm.
Prime?
Mhm.
Like you can talk about fun stuff, you can talk about business,
Mhm.
just a little bit more laid back. So that still is my happy place.
Yeah. And I've heard Facebook is gaining more popularity recently anyway. So yeah. Oh,
Yes, I
again, I
I
should say.
think definitely, it was kinda, like, forgotten for a
Yeah.
while, especially
Yeah.
when TikTok came along,
Yes, for
but,
sure.
I think Facebook, will always be there because it has so many features that the other platforms don't.
Mhm.
So what platform is yours of choice?
Instagram.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm more
Which
so.
doesn't surprise me because 'cause you're more creative.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yes, so
But
that's a good fit for you.
yeah, and I'm increasing activity on LinkedIn, But I find for LinkedIn, I'm more so having conversations with people versus like the posting. So I'm on LinkedIn all the time, but just talking, having conversations rather
Yeah,
than.
they say actually it's like 4% of users on LinkedIn actually post. It's like
Yeah.
the
1%.
smallest number. 1%?
1%.
Oh my gosh.
1%.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so when you think about
Mm-hmm.
it, right, it really is an opportunity to post
Absolutely.
because there's not as much posting going on as like
Mm-hmm.
Instagram. So yeah, but I think people feel that LinkedIn is a little buttoned up, but
Yeah. They've
I
changed a little
honestly
bit though.
yeah, it
Yeah.
has. And
Yeah.
I'm just as much myself on LinkedIn as I
Mhm.
am on Instagram. So, yeah.
And that's what I heard because I'm still learning about LinkedIn. I just talked to another founder and she says she basically what you would share in Instagram stories, she shares as a post. And I'm like, really? I didn't think that you could put that on LinkedIn. So, you know, I'm gonna try it out one day. We'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no rules. I've really found that like
Yeah.
there's absolutely no rules and if you just be yourself, then you will attract your tribe.
Yeah. Yeah. And they've changed their algorithm a little bit too. So I think they're trying to not lose people as well.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
yeah.
because everything is just flooded with AI right now.
Yeah. The new world we live in.
I know.
So, what do you use to tell yourself in business, okay, because XYZ is occurring, I'm successful? What to you is success and what's showing you that what you're doing is working?
Oh my gosh, I love this question like is my love language. So, for me, success looks like easy mornings, right? Where I don't
Yes.
log in till 10 a.m. and I close my laptop by 4 o'clock so I can go have family dinner and,
Mhm.
be unplugged and, take not book appointments on Fridays. And I'm in the middle of a rebrand right now with my
Ah.
business and yeah, and I've started posting about this like simply rich and what I think that means and it
Mhm.
means to me like really having a simple life and enjoying the simple things in life like a beautiful sunrise and different things like that and but also like making a ton of money and being rich
Mhm.
and wealthy
Mhm.
and so really for me success isn't just about the money because as someone who's had a ton of money like I hit $1
Mhm.
million my first million in 2010 so
Mhm.
I've had money for a while now it really what I really learned is that it's not just about the money like I had new
Mhm.
cars and I had a cute little beach house and
Mhm.
I had all the pocketbooks and the shoes and all of
Mhm.
the kind of things and it didn't
Mhm.
make me any happier
Mhm.
the happiest I've ever been is where I am in my life right now, living in a tiny home near
Mhm.
the beach and just really having a business that lights me up and family nearby. So, really that's my definition of success is just living your best life and enjoying the ride.
Yes. I love that. Um, Side question. Are you literally in a tiny house?
Yes.
Okay, you have to. Okay, that's so
Okay.
cool.
So,
The inner me would love that, but like would not be all of the hobbies I have. I just could never do that. But I love that. Tell me.
oh my gosh. So let's see. My boyfriend and I both had our own houses. We had our both businesses. We had everything. We had cars, we had toys, we had everything. And we downsized to 400 square feet and lived
Uh,
in an RV for 10 years after I
that
sold
is
my
so
business. And
cool.
we recently just upgraded to 500 square feet.
Look at
And we're
you
living in a
living
tiny
large.
home. Yeah, we're living large now. And so, the thing about it is it really makes you think like I love Lily Pulitzer. I love to shop, but I'm constantly rotating my closet. I only have so much room.
Mhm.
And so it really makes you think like, why am I buying this thing? Right? Am I buying it because I'm hoping it makes me happy or because it like brings me joy? Like, why am I buying something? And so it really shifts your mentality on where you spend your money, what makes you happy, what brings you joy, because you only have so much room in order to store stuff. So,
Yeah, like literally.
yeah, literally,
Yeah.
like when
Like the
I
capsule wardrobe becomes realistic.
yeah, you could definitely do that. That's not my jam.
Okay, okay.
I
So what
just
do you say you just
rotate a
rotate?
lot.
What do
Yeah,
you mean rotate?
so
What do you do? Do you sell or do you what's your
consign.
rotation?
Yeah, consign. So I'll
Okay.
wear things like a few times. And that's one of the things I love about Lilly Pulitzer is there's a huge resale community. And so, you can wear something a few times and then put it in consignment and get some money for it and then go buy something else, right? And so it allows you to kind of rotate your closet with minimal guilt.
Mhm. Cool.
So yeah.
That's so cool. So I'm very much so that means are you the type like are you the type like you love, outdoors and obviously you lived in an RV for 10 years. So where were you traveling? We like that life too, so I just
Oh yeah,
yeah.
amazing. So when I sold my business in 2017, we did a 3-month trip across the United States
Mhm.
and it was amazing. I mean, this country has the most beautiful landscapes and mountains
Yes.
and beaches and just everything. And so we did that and then we took a couple trips every single year because we're in Florida, like beach living. We like to go to the mountains, right? Because we don't
Gotcha.
have that anymore. We have like ant hills now.
Yes.
And so we'll go to the mountains and those different kinds of things. But it, I am not a big outdoorsy person. My boyfriend loves
Oh,
the outdoors.
okay.
Because, there's like bugs and other stuff out there,
This is
but
interesting for you to say this. Okay.
yes, but I have to say the one place we have a motorcycle, the one place that I can completely unplug, not think about business, not think about anything is when I'm on the back of that motorcycle riding through the mountains, right? Because there's no internet, you have to hold on, you can't be on your phone taking pictures, and so you're just like fully present to think, to relax, to be creative. And so I really love when we go away and take a trip because I really feel it's an opportunity for me to just really truly relax and not be on like a typical kind of beach vacation.
That sounds lovely.
It really
I'm
is.
I'm envisioning the ride through the mountains. That's so cool. I think that's so cool that you live in a tiny house. So I remember when tiny homes started getting popular, because I also had a friend that lived in one too, way smaller than yours. When it started getting popular, about a year or two in, there was a city close to me that opened up a property so that people could have tiny homes, and I was like, how cool would it to get a tiny home? Like,
Yeah.
can I do that? But no, I have 3 little people, so I mean, I know families. So like we like to watch that on YouTube, like people who live in them and stuff, because I find it very interesting. I would like that life, but I think realistically for me it'd be a little difficult because I'm a seamstress too. So I'm like, where would I put all my stuff? Like, how would that
Yeah.
work?
And
But I love
I
that.
mean, so we actually live in an RV resort community and
Okay.
we see many people with great intentions, and we saw a lot of it, after COVID and the pandemic
Yes.
that were
Yes.
like, we sold it all and we're going to
Yeah.
be full-time RVers. And they maybe made it like 3 months.
Yeah.
Because it really is truly a mindset shift. So we see a lot of people come in with great intentions, but then just realize it's not for them. And so I always tell people like, you need to really get honest with yourself. Like, is this something you're doing temporarily to like try it out? We get a
Yeah.
lot of people that come in because their like, job brings them to a temporary location. We get a lot of like traveling nurses. Um, so different things like that, but you really have to be honest with your needs. I mean,
Mhm.
you know, if you're a seamstress and you have like all of this stuff and
Yeah.
equipment that you kind of need,
Yeah.
it makes it hard, right?
Yeah.
And I think also asking like, why are you doing this?
Mhm.
For us, we both had 24/7 businesses. And so when I sold in 17, it was like we were really looking for, I had a senior home care franchise. I was on call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for 10 years straight. That allowed me to work remotely. But I always had that phone on. And so we were looking for a much more simple life with all of this stuff. Like when we cleaned out the houses, it was like, okay, here's all this stuff that we bought that we never used. And so it was really an opportunity for us to kind of get more grounded, live simply, and really just enjoy.
If you've been listening to this podcast for a while and have been wondering what it's like to work together, this is your invitation. Visit ahadicreations.com to explore my marketing services. And let's build something that truly supports the next season of your business. Strategy when you need direction, implementation when you need reliable execution.
Is there anything that you're juggling behind the scenes that kind of makes it a challenge for you to keep going with your entrepreneur journey?
That's such a great question. So I released a new coaching program for women around that $1 million mark. And that was in May, which made me then realize, so that was supposed to be a 90-day sprint of, recording 45 videos and scripts and templates and tools and getting all loaded and all of that stuff that goes into a new program. But then what happened is it made me realize that the signature program I've had for 4 years really need to be adjusted, right? So my 90-day sprint, which is what I teach clients, don't sprint longer than 90 days at that faster pace, then was 5 months. And with that, it was, we took some mini vacations. My boyfriend was out of town for a bunch of time. We sold our RV. We moved to temporary housing because the house was delayed. We moved into the house. And so really, for me, the beginning of 2026 was one big juggle, speaking, attending conferences, like all of these different things. And so once we moved into the house, July 4th weekend, I was like, okay, I'm just taking the next couple months to just chill. And this is what I think is so important, because I literally built to that first million in 2010, 80-hour weeks. And I was so burnt out. I couldn't even function, think, like brain fog, I had it all. And so now I really encourage my clients, like, yeah, there's going to be times in business where you do need to, I like to say sprint, right? Whereas on average, your business should be more of a marathon, right? A long distance run that you can sustainably, manage. But it shouldn't be more than 90 days, because I know myself this year, just at that 90-day point, I was kind of like, okay, how much longer do I got? And so by the time 5 months was over, I was like, so done. And I think especially too, as we just get older, we don't multitask as well. We all know now that multitasking is not a good thing. Maybe we're in perimenopause, like any of those kinds of things going on. And so, I think I really love to not try and juggle as much as possible. I really like to live like a calm life as much as possible. So, yeah.
Yeah. So are you near the beach? Like, do you go to the beach regularly to get that therapy, basically?
Yes. So we live pretty much across the street from the beach. We're like right across from like a beach parking lot. And it's amazing. I walk by the beach. I don't actually go sit on the beach very often, but it's like always one of those things, when I talk to my mom, we talk about like, if you need to go to the beach and chill out or breathe or relax or whatever it is, it's like right there. But, walk by it. And we're just in a really beautiful area that there's not a lot of like condos like all over it. And so it's, we're like a little turtle area here. So it really is truly relaxing just to see the palm trees. I grew up in Massachusetts, and we just didn't have that beachy vibe. And so now, I feel like I truly live in this little piece of paradise, and I'm truly grateful for that.
Yes. Yeah. Because we visit just about every year. And growing up, I was in Florida every year. It's like therapy for sure. For
It
sure.
is.
If you're enjoying this episode, be sure to click the follow button and share with a friend.
So you had a lot of business development that you were able to do. Is there something that you've had to give up, or tell us something that you've had to give up in order to keep yourself growing?
So I've been an entrepreneur 19 years now. I started out with that franchise. I had a clothing boutique. I worked in I had some direct sales businesses and coaching and all different kinds of things, real estate, like all the things. And what I really realized, two things. One, perfectionism, right? Like I had a coach a couple years ago who really brainwashed me into 70% done is better than perfect, and just get it out there at 70%, which I think like is like a knife to my mother's grammatical and spelling heart when she sees something. But it's one of those things, it's life, right? But the other thing I had to give up. So I remember I was in my franchise and I was probably in my first year of business, and I got a call from a caregiver who we had booked him and another caregiver at the exact same time. And the other caregiver was there first. And he walked in and she was sitting on the couch with a client smoking a cigarette while the client smoked a cigar on his chair. And he was like, if these are the kind of people that you hire, then I don't want to be associated to them. And I was like, oh my God, this is not what we hire. Like, we have such high standards. How did this happen? And I was so upset that this had happened. And I literally like, I remember like pacing my office, my heart pumping, like this anger. And this caregiver, I called her and I was like, you need to come in here like right now. And she came into the office like nothing was wrong. Like, what's the big deal? She had on, I'll never forget, Champion sweatshirt set that was like kind of dingy and dirty. And I remember thinking to myself, oh my gosh, like you have to get it in check, because you're not going to have a heart attack over someone else doing something stupid that you can't control. And that was a really big lesson for me early in business, that I couldn't work myself up to that level of like agitation and anger, because it was only doing damage to me. And this was going to be the first of many issues in my, time. And so I really had to teach myself that, one, don't get excited about those things, right? It's something else stupid will happen. But also two, really teach my team that it was okay to make mistakes. And if you made a mistake, fix it and move on, right? And as long as no one was dying, we were doing okay.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, that's a common trait that many have to get rid of. I think so, more so females too, when we want things to be a certain way, and obviously you had a standard set already, so she wasn't
very high standard.
Yeah. So that set didn't meet the standard that she should have. Poor thing. Oh goodness. Okay, so now it's time for the last segment to close out the episode. It's a rapid round of questions called Beyond the Build, and it's basically designed to help us get to know the woman you are outside of business. So the goal is for you to answer each question under 3 seconds. Okay?
Let's do it.
Okay. So first question, favorite way to recharge?
Asleep.
Okay. Mountains or the beach?
Beach.
What app can't you live without on your phone?
Oh, none.
Okay. What is the best advice that you've received?
Delegate everything outside your zone of genius or that you don't like to do.
Okay. Okay, what brings you peace during a busy season?
Going outside and having sunshine on my face.
Okay. So just side question, are you more so just like relaxed outside type kind of vibe?
Yeah.
Like in the quiet, like just the sound of outside?
It's pretty funny. Like my boyfriend comes home and he puts on the TV and the music and all the lights and all these things.
All the noise.
And I've been sitting in quiet for hours.
Aww.
And he's like, how can you function? I'm like, how can you function?
You're like, I'm recovering from you.
Yeah, opposites attract, he tells me.
Yes, exactly. I was just thinking that. Okay, okay. That makes sense though. Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us today and sharing some of your insights and a part of your journey. Can you tell the listener what you have to share with them, an
Yeah.
offer, and then how they can stay connected with you?
Exactly. So if you are a woman service-based business owner and you are looking to remove yourself from your daily operations so your business runs without you and becomes an asset that you can do so many different things with, then I would encourage you to download. I have a free guide called the $1 Million Business Owner's Blind Spot Guide. It's going to teach you the 4 pillars that power billion-dollar brands that I use to remove myself from my $1 million business and go from 80-hour weeks to just 16 and more than triple that $1 million revenue. And they can grab that at www.passionpurposeposture.com/dependency. And the best way to connect with me is probably on social media. It's at Sailynn Doyle on every social media. Look me up and send me a message and say, hey, I heard you on Amanda's podcast, and I'd love to chat. So
Yes, yes. Thank you so much. And I hope you make some good connections after this as well.
thank you so much for having
Okay.
me. I so appreciate it.
Thank you so much for tuning into today's episode. The links to connect with today's guest and any other links mentioned during this episode can be found in the show notes below, as well as by visiting ahadicreations.com/podcast. AHADI creations.com/podcast. If anything resonated with you from today's episode, please leave a 5-star review so that other female founders can find and be inspired by the stories shared within this podcast. Thank you so much for being here, and always remember, together we can build. I'll meet you right here on the next episode.